Hello, listeners. My name is narrator and Proxyopoly at large. This podcast, which you're about to listen to, episode number 4 in its series, may be best described as a free-form conversation that takes place within the abstract chambers of a fictitious Proxyopoly system. Specifically, a satirical deliberation of absurdist buzzwords in which no human being ought to take under consideration seriously, unless a friendly game of Proxyopoly would appear to make any mock proxy vote remain with its mock beneficial owners' mock underlying ESG scores. If any aforementioned circumstances within this fictitious Proxyopoly system would present themselves in such a way as to facilitate outside considerations in favor of non-fictional procurements, with specific regard to making actual proxy votes remain with actual ESG scores, have a conference with your actual sustainability officer and ask if a proxy variable with interest in public health is right for you and your Proxyopoly. Now, without further delay, the studio reverberates with anticipation as the Jackal Trades and Proxy Zero prepare for another episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. The Jackal Trades, Host 1.
Welcome back, my fellow Proxyopolists, to another electrifying episode of the Game of Proxyopoly. I'm the Jackal of Trades, and I'm here with the unyielding Proxy Zero to once again translate one of the most truncated words in the English language for a worldwide audience for some unknown reason.
Proxy Zero, Host 2.
We meet again, my sweet, sweet Proxyopolis. Get ready for a clash of dissident forces that will reshape the landscape of Proxyopoly as we know it thus far within this fictitious Proxyopoly system.
Oh, Proxy Zero, sometimes it pains me just how right you are. In today's episode, we'll draw from our hand of dissident proxy cards to begin playing the proxy contest.
Oh, Jackal, if only the audience realized how immaterial your words really were. But you're correct. In this episode, the proxy contest will feature a special Q&A session in response to the dissident forces at play in the proxy contest. Our hosts have drawn their fate, setting the stage for an intense call from rivals and allies alike.
But before we go any further on the subject of this proxy contest, Proxy Zero, why don't you explain to the Proxyopolists listening at home what the mock prospectus from last week's episode is all about?
No, I'm good. If the listeners want to learn more about this mock prospectus, they can visit our Patreon. And that Patreon can be found on the link tree as shared on the last episode. And once again, that link tree is linktr.ee/NASAARAZUSA.
You're right, Proxy Zero, and once again, that's linktree/NASCARCOSA. That's linktr.ee/NASCARCOSA.
Fake and separate music starts.
Hi, it's me, Proxy Zero, here again with another fourth wall breakthrough in this cosmic search for flavor that is cosmic crunch cereal. Mix it with your Thunderblast energy drinks for a cacophony of nonsense. Now, back to your originally scheduled programming.
Fake and separate music ends.
Alright, all you bulls and bears and betas out there, I guess it's time to get down to brass tacks and talk about what it is we talk about here on the Game of Proxyopoly podcast, and that is the Game of Proxyopoly. Should I go any further there, Proxy Zero?
You know, I think I'm ready. I would say that I think I have a grasp on it, but why don't you explain it a little bit more so that our good Proxyopolists in the audience can understand?
Oh, Proxy Zero, it would be my absolute pleasure to make that germane here. Alright, everyone, the proprietary quantitative algorithm of Proxyopoly needs your feedback. Though it be fictitious, it is vital to this satirical and farce of an endeavor that is this podcast titled The Game of Proxyopoly Podcast.
Jackal, I follow you, but in case some of the bulls and the bears and the betas at home are not following you quite like I am, why don't you explain to them what exactly is a proxy within the context of the Game of Proxyopoly, bearing in mind it is a fictitious Proxyopoly system?
I thought you would never ask, PZ. As we traverse the realm of Proxyopoly, where laughter reigns supreme and logic takes the back seat, we encounter a cast of proxies that defy convention and embrace the peculiar.
Now when you say proxies, what does that mean in relation to a proxy?
Oh, Proxy Zero, I would love to answer that question for you, but it looks like with the number of disclaimers we have to do in this podcast, we are out of time.
Oh, Jackal, well, I haven't this understanding of time as you do. I'll just have to hold on to my hand of dissident proxy cards until next week.
That's just how the game is played, Proxy Zero. If our listeners at home would like to take a look at the dissident cards in Proxy Zero's hand, they can check those out on our Patreon. But for now, here's NASCAR COSAR with a cold call to close us out. And just a reminder to the Proxyopolists at home, there may be some clues here as to the identity of the general partner at large, so let's listen carefully. Again.
Dang, dang. Dang, dang.
Hi, I'm NASCAR Kosa. Does cash rule everything around you? Are there proxy variables for non-financial performance appearing on your financial statements? Or are you just searching for more proprietary quantitative algorithms to make any mock proxy vote germane with its mock beneficial owners' mock ESG scores? Well, if you're here for that, my loss is your gain. Because today you can subscribe and learn more about it on our Patreon and on the Linktree, or otherwise next week's episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. Because, once again, in the sum of all its parts, Proxyopoly and its subsequent proprietary quantitative algorithms made germane in the podcast titled The Game of Proxyopoly Podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you.